Good afternoon / early evening, friends. So wonderful to see you all, and welcome to our Grad SLAM and Postdoc pitch event. Yay! It's an exciting evening. So my name is Judy Kim. I am the interim dean of the Division of Graduate Education and Postdoctoral Affairs. We call ourselves GEPA. So if you hear that, that's us. And I just want to really brief background about this event. This is our 12th year hosting Grad SLAM at the UC San Diego campus. And I know we're all excited. This is our first year hosting Postdoc Pitch. So we're really excited about this edition. I think you all know, but for those who are brand new to this is a competitive speaking event where graduate students and postdoctoral scholars are sharing their compelling research in a brief 3 minutes. So if you're stuck on the elevator for 3 minutes because you're going up, this is the pitch you're going to hear. Or you have a bunch of money that you want to give to these folks and they have 3 minutes to tell you why. This is the pitch. They are, of course, not only going to present their research in 3 minutes, but they're competing for a financial prize here as well as potentially more if they advance. And I just want to say this event is accessible through live stream for audience members who are not able to join in person today. So greetings to all of you who are online with us. Some more background, Grad SLAM is a UC system-wide competition, and today's Grad SLAM champion is going to go to UC system-wide Grad SLAM. It's going to be up in Sacramento in a few weeks on April 29th. And I'm so proud that last year UC San Diego did have the entire winner from the UC system. No pressure, but I know that our finalists, any one of them can take on any of the other UC candidates. So we are excited. Now, we all, of course, we're here to celebrate grad students, postdoctoral scholars, your research. We know that you're vital to the UC San Diego community. You're contributing in great ways to our research mission with your creativity, your sheer brain power, everything that you're bringing with you. And of course, beyond the lab and research, you are part of our educational mission. You serve as TAs, instructors, mentors, just contributing in ways that the list goes on and on. So I just want to recognize that you do much more than what we're going to hear about here today. And I can't overemphasize the essential role that you grad students and postdocs play in expanding just our understanding of the world, our appreciation for the world. And I have two examples that we can all strive for. One, 2024, the Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine was awarded to two individuals who worked together in the same lab as postdocs in the 80s. They developed a collaboration, a friendship, it continued, and then 10, 15 years later, despite them being independent researchers, they were awarded the Nobel Prize for work that they started together and continued. So we have that as an example. And of course, my favorite example is Einstein. We should all strive to be like Einstein. He published several papers the same year he got his dissertation, submitted his dissertation, and of course one of those papers on the photoelectric effect earned him the Nobel Prize. So grad students, postdocs, the work you're doing now, who knows where it will lead, but it could be as great as a Nobel Prize. Not that Nobel Prize is the only thing to recognize great science, but just to show you, it all is important. So we just want these examples here. They remind us that major accomplishments early in your careers as grad students and postdocs, they can change the world. So we, UCSD, we can't be the world-class research university we are without having students and scholars like you. So we're really glad that you're here and to be training together. So we look forward to hearing we have 7 postdoctoral scholars, 10 graduate student finalists today. And by the way, these are finalists, so they had submitted their videos among with many others, were selected to be the finalists, and you're here today, and we will have a champions as well as second and third place at the end of the day. So those are all my comments because I just want to welcome everybody. And I think we're ready to get started with our postdocs because this is what we're here for. So we're going to be starting with our postdoc pitch finalists. But first, we've got to welcome some very important people who are here watching very closely and listening. And so I'd like to introduce our postdoc pitch judges for the postdoc pitch competition. So I'm going to say your name, and hopefully, if you don't mind standing up. We have Sid Burrows, Sid right here, who is the Director of Research IT Services at UCSD. So thank you for being here. Andrea Decker here is joining us from the Fleet Science Center, where she serves as Scientist Engagement Manager. I also have worked with Andrea in some volunteer capacities, so it's great that Andrea is here. We have Diane Ebert-May. So Diane. Diane Ebert-May is a university distinguished professor at Michigan State University, as well as adjunct professor in ecology, behavior, and evolution here at UCSD. Dr. Ebert-May also created and teaches the Pathways to Scientific Teaching course for UCSD postdocs. So it's a great program, and we're really excited that you're able to join in this capacity as well. And Jolynn Johnson. Jolynn Johnson is joining us from kind of across the street, the Salk Institute for Biological, it's a little bit of a walk, but you can still walk it, from the Salk Institute for Biological Studies, where she is the director of the Office of Community and Engagement and an IRB board member. So thank you all for postdoc pitch judges. We have a different set of judges for the Grad SLAM portion, and we'll introduce those folks at the next session. Okay, so some rules before we start. Each finalist will present their 3-minute research talk. Once the finalist presentation has ended, the judges will have a few minutes to score the speaker. Our judges will score presenters in the categories of clarity, organization, delivery, appropriateness, intellectual significance, and engagement. At the end of the entire event, we're going to announce our first, second, and third place postdoctoral scholar winners. And now we're ready. I would like to introduce the first postdoc presenter. And this is Filippo Agnelli from Structural Engineering with the talk, Modeling Pressure for Fast Charging and Long-Lasting Solid-State Batteries.
Have you noticed how often people come to you looking for a charger? Well, that's not surprising, given that all of our portable technologies these days are powered with battery. Honestly, I feel lucky on the days where I get to charge my phone only once. But I wish we could do something to improve the battery efficiency by a lot. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if we could use our phone for weeks on a single charge? And what about the charging speed? Can you imagine charging your phone in seconds? Well, take the current lithium-ion batteries. Whenever you try to increase the charging speed or store more energy into it, a bunch of side reactions occur. As a result, the battery wears down, the battery warms up, and in some cases, the battery blows up. So scientists in the chemical community came up with a brilliant idea. They want to replace the flammable liquid with a solid phase that doesn't catch fire, and what's more, allows to use new chemicals with high efficiency. The potential is huge on paper. We are talking about improving the storing capacity by a factor of 10. So let's see how they do it. First, take a solid electrolyte and place it in between a positive and negative electrode. Then seal everything in a pouch to make a compact cell. And finally, apply pressure to ensure the proper contact between each layer. Et voila, the solid-state battery is ready for use. In fact, almost ready. You see, electrodes are made of tiny little particles that act like sponge. They swell and shrink as the battery operates. So even in operation, we need an additional pressure to ensure that each layer stays in contact. But finding the right pressure for a given microstructure is extremely difficult and time-consuming. So that's where I come in. I am a modeling specialist, and in my research, I translate my colleagues' experiment into mathematical equations, and I build what's called a digital twin, an equivalent model that allows me to simulate the electric, chemical, and mechanical response of the battery over time. So by analyzing the relationship, the interactions between the chemical reaction and the stacked pressure, I am able to locate the zones in the cell where stress level can lead to either debonding or cracks. So without opening the battery, I hope to convince you that with models, I am able to understand why battery fails, and find ways to improve them. And all of that in a fraction of the time it would take by doing experiments. So rest assured that next time you see me, you and I won't be needing a charger. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Filippo. And now the judges will take a few minutes. And meanwhile, we'd like to get to know you a little bit more, and you'll tell us, just have a few questions here. First, I'd love to hear about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Well, thank you very much for the question. That is difficult. I could think of the professor that have inspired me to become a researcher, in particular, my director of the thesis, Dr. Andrei Constantinescu, back in Paris. The person I want to acknowledge is not a person that I met in person. She's a scientist, she's a book writer, she's an entrepreneur. Her name is Aurélie Zhong. She came up with many books, including one called The Other Side of the Machine. And so she's an engineer like me, and she inspired me to basically tackle new research problems. I have a mechanical engineering background, and now I'm doing chemistry.
Wonderful. Thank you. Tell us a little bit more about, you've heard about your research. You're in San Diego. I don't know how long you've been living in San Diego, but tell us your favorite thing about San Diego.
So I have been living in San Diego for the past year. I moved here last March. And what I love about San Diego, well, let's be honest, the weather, the beach, and the workplace is not bad as well. Like, we have a lot of facilities here that allows us to take some time off between the work. So I haven't had the chance to explore much of California outside of San Diego, so that's really something I'm looking for.
Well, there is plenty to do if you just get an hour away from here even. So from desert to mountains. So I grew up in Southern California, so I can tell you all about it. Okay. To your research, if you had any superpower that's going to help you in your research, what would it be?
An excellent question. So I have a lot of work to do. There are many, many things that we can explore in batteries. So if I had a superpower to choose, I would actually like to clone myself so that I can tell one guy to do the mechanics, one guy to do the chemistry, and one guy to do the electricity.
And the other guy surfing.
Exactly.
And the other guy hiking. And the other guy going to the good restaurants. Okay. So cloning. We need to clone Filippo. Maybe there'll be a talk on that. And then also, a little bit more about yourself. Tell us something on your bucket list.
It's not really funny, but it is so essential. I need to get my driver's license.
Whoa! How long can he live in San Diego without a driver's license? It's been a year, obviously. Are you getting lessons?
So I know how to drive, but unfortunately the state of California does not recognize my driver's license. So okay. I just need to take the test.
The behind the wheel test.
And the theory.
And the theory test. I like how you call it theory, yes. Well, we will watch out. If you need any help from any of us, we'll help you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Filippo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, whether judges are ready or not, we're ready for our second postdoc. Our next speaker is Aalok Varma from Neuroscience with the talk, Ancient Octopus Viruses on the Eve of Discovery, EVE. All right. Okay.
When you hear the word virus, I bet you're thinking of diseases like the flu or AIDS, or the horrors of the pandemic come to mind, perhaps. Well, I don't fault you for that, but viruses are much more than just agents of disease. In fact, about 8% of your DNA is viral in origin. These are called endogenous viral elements, or EVEs, and they are remnants of ancient infections that have been disarmed and or repurposed for new functions over millions of years of evolution. Think of them like that relative of yours who overstays their welcome, but then helps you out with your chores. Now, viruses infect all living things, from the largest blue whale to the smallest bacterium. Naturally, EVEs are found in all organisms too, including the cephalopods that I study. Cephalopods are squids, octopuses, and cuttlefish, and I think they're absolutely spectacular organisms. Not only are they adorable, but they can also use tools, can rapidly change their skin color to camouflage with their background, and they even seem to be adapting to climate change. What is particularly interesting, though, is an unusual Eve that we found hiding in their DNA. This Eve is a relative of a virus called the adeno-associated virus, or AAV, which is a small, harmless virus that doesn't really cause any disease. Many of us in this room, and perhaps even on the live stream, are probably infected with it right now. They're so harmless, in fact, that these AAVs have been used to treat genetic disorders, that is, in gene therapy. So what is a gene therapy virus doing inside a cephalopod? Now that is the million-dollar question that I'm trying to answer. To do so, we're going directly to the source to look at where in the animal these so-called viruses are expressed, what they look like at the atomic level, and what they contain. I'm hoping that there are clues to its function hidden there. In an independent set of experiments, I'm trying to delete this Eve from the DNA of a cephalopod to ask what the consequences of that would be on its physiology. And finally, given that these viruses look similar to AAVs, we're considering the possibility that they could be used in gene therapy in cases where traditional AAVs fail. Now, we're a very long way from that for now, but I fondly imagine the day that an ancient octopus virus helps save modern human lives. Until then, the next time you think of a virus, don't just think of diseases and pandemics. Think of the Eves that live within you and make you who you are, and how Eves from cephalopods could be useful in healthcare, but also just simply understanding how life works. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
It's Aalok, like oak tree at the end.
Like oak tree. Okay, Aalok. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
We also have questions for you, just so we can get to know you a little bit better after we've heard about your research. And we always start with the same question, is tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Yeah, I kind of second Filippo. You know, there are so many people, teachers and many my parents, but I think the person who has inspired me, whether she likes it or not, is actually my elder sister. I grew up with her. Like it's a privilege to actually have an elder sister because you get to learn a lot from them. They're way ahead of you, and you always want to just get better and do whatever they're doing. So I got into a lot of activities like dance and things just because she was doing it, and I wanted to be just like her. So I also think that she is an artist right now. So she's a former like a painter, and she took a lot of risks in her life to pursue this career, and she's much calmer than I am, and I feel like I really aspire to be more like her.
Oh, that's wonderful. A wonderful balance. Okay, so now we'd like to hear about your favorite way to recharge.
I think that is, I want to say something active, but I actually just sleep and like laze around. Have a lazy Sunday is the best way to recharge. But since it's a Southern California and everyone is active, I'd say tennis is my way to recharge.
Oh, nice. I play a lot of tennis too, so maybe I see you out there on
yes,
the
of course.
on the court.
I go to PBTC if you can.
I'm over in Muir on Saturdays and Sundays, so if I see you, we'll play.
Sure.
I'm really bad though. Okay, so
on
tennis. Now, how long have you been at UCSD?
Just a little over a year and a half.
Oh,
I
okay.
started on 9/11, 2023. Yes, 2023.
Okay.
So
All right. So
easy to remember.
Year and a half, and so you have now gone through a year and seeing what campus does, undergrads, grads, postdocs, our community.
Yeah.
If you could create a new campus tradition, what would it be?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think as postdocs, we don't really know much about all of the traditions that UCSD has. I vaguely know that someone somewhere from some building throws off a watermelon. I know that, but I don't know the details of it. So I actually don't know the traditions of UCSD completely. And I'm not a huge fan of traditions myself, but I think it would be nice if students could kind of exchange their lives for a day. Like that would be a nice tradition where you exchange schedules. and it like, serves multiple functions. It could not only give a chance to people to explore something that's way outside their comfort zone, but could also help with empathy, because people don't really know what another person's schedule looks like, how busy or how hard it is. And yeah, I think that would be a nice tradition for students and maybe postdocs also to just have and see each other's lives and see the world through another person's lens.
I love it. You can even do that across, whether it's staff and faculty and et cetera. And it would be really fun if you didn't tell the people. So if it was like students and postdocs were changing for a day, and then all of a sudden in my lab I had these new people, I'm like, okay, we're going to make it work. So that would be fun. And last question. If you had a superpower that could help you in your research, what would it be?
That is another hard one. I actually thought about this for quite a while. I actually think it would be nice to time travel. That would be a nice superpower to have. Like, not just to go into the future and find the answer out. I think that's a boring use of the time travel. But if I could go back in time and redo my experiments better, and without making the same mistakes that I made before.
All right, so
I think that would be a great superpower to have.
Oh, that would be a great superpower. Okay, well, thank you very much, Aalok.
Yeah, thank you so much.
We appreciate it. Okay, we have our third postdoc speaker is Anwita Mahajan from economics with the talk, Minimum Wages and the Mix of Benefits.
If I ask you whether the government should raise the minimum wage, many of you would say yes, right? It sounds like a no-brainer. But hold up. Things are more complicated than they seem. Let me paint you a picture. Meet Maria. She is grinding away at her minimum wage job, trying to make ends meet. On top of her hourly wage, she relies on her employer's health coverage and government-provided food stamps to make sure that her family is healthy and well-fed. These three resources make up Maria's resource pie. Now, suppose Maria's state decides to increase the minimum wage. You'd think that this would be a good thing for her. But here's the plot twist. Maria's employer now stops offering her health coverage in exchange for paying her a higher wage. Suddenly, she's kicked off the food stamp program because her new wage pushes her over the eligibility threshold. What seemed like a good thing ends up being a bit of a mixed bag for Maria. Her resource pie shrinks. My research shines a light on these unintended effects of large-scale government programs using minimum wages as a case. Luckily, all is not lost for Maria. Another government program that happens to exist catches her when she falls. That program is Medicaid, which offers her health coverage and compensates her for what she lost elsewhere. Maria's resource pie grows again. But Medicaid wasn't supposed to play this role. This program now unexpectedly has to absorb workers like Maria who lost their employer's health coverage. Without it, a minimum wage increase would have left these workers worse off. My research shows that sometimes tweaking one policy can send ripples across the policy ecosystem, generating unforeseen consequences. And so, policies that depend on each other should be delicately coordinated. As a social scientist, my job is to use data and analysis to uncover the real effects of government programs. Sure, I may not be able to overhaul the system overnight, but even if my research brings us a little bit closer to better policy design, I'd consider it a job well done. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Anwita. And we, of course, have questions for you. They will sound unique. Tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Oh,
Never heard
that's
that
the
one?
first I've heard of that question. I think a lot of people have had a really positive and big impact on my life and my career as a whole. But one name that comes to mind immediately when you ask that question is my high school math teacher. And high school was a time when I was struggling a little bit with math, and I was trying to find my way in the world and trying to decide if a career in STEM is for me or not. And you'd think that a teacher in that position would encourage their student to get more tutoring or get more help and so on. But my teacher actually did the opposite. He made me a tutor so that I was pushed into the deep end, and I was given like the opportunity and the responsibility to teach others, and I just had to figure things out and build my own confidence, and that really helped, I think.
Oh, that's great advice for teaching assistants, I want to say, because oftentimes that's how a graduate student feels too. So
Right.
I think we can relate. Tell us about your favorite thing about San Diego.
Oh, hands down the people. I think I've only been in San Diego for about 8 months, and I have not met one person who hasn't been welcoming and smiling the first time I've met them. And within this short span of time, I've made really good friends. So I think it's the people and the positivity that they bring with them.
Oh, very nice. I agree. And tell us about, if you could have any superpower to affect your research, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think, okay, hear me out. It's the ability to read minds, but let me explain. Sounds cliched, but let me explain. So as an economist, a big part of my job is to try to understand how people are making decisions in the economic context, but let the data tell us what those decisions are. We don't actually read people's minds to understand that that is really the way they're making decisions. So once in a while, I think it would be good to know that what we see in the data and how we interpret it is really how people are thinking.
Yeah, that is fascinating. It is true. We don't know what people think. Although I think there is, I feel like NMR or other tools that people use to map what's happening in people's brains as they're making decisions. But
We need to integrate those.
no, that is a great topic. And then tell us what's on your bucket list.
Ooh. I think it would be to plan out and take my parents on a vacation. Both my parents, but especially my dad, is really fond of traveling, and I wish that there would be a time when I can just plan a whole vacation out for them and send them on that vacation. And being on a graduate stipend for the last many years, I can't wait to get to the stage where I can do that.
Well, San Diego is a wonderful place to start,
That's a
so
good
we can
point.
bring them
That's
here and host them, and they will
Yeah.
enjoy it. So thank you very
Thank
much,
you so
Anita.
much. Thanks.
Okay, we have our next speaker. We're moving right along here. Is Karina Rocha from medicine with the talk, Fake News as Therapeutic Strategy.
Hi everyone, I'm Karina and I study how cells talk to each other. To explain that, I'm proposing a very simple scenario that is actually happening right now. We are all in this room sitting and we are not moving much. Now imagine that you want to talk to your friend. If your friend is close to you, you can talk to them directly. But if your friend is across the room, you would need to send a message, for example, a text message. So cells, they do the same thing. If a cell is close to another cell, they are going to communicate directly. But if a cell is far away from the other cell, they will need to send a message. And I study this kind of message. Most of my time, I'm trying to understand what distant cells are saying to each other through those messages. Turns out that those messages are so important that they need to be protected by small capsules that we call extracellular vesicles. Every cell in our body can release those vesicles, and once they are released, other cells can pick them up, open them, release the message, read the message, and do something about it. So the message often leads to an action inside the cell that just received them. A game changer in our field was the discovery that the message that the cells are sending reflect their state, meaning that a healthy cell is going to send a good message that is going to influence other cells in a positive way. However, if we are undergoing a certain type of diseases, our cells is going to send a bad message that is going to influence other cells in a negative way, normally helping with the disease progression. But we can change that. If we study and understand what a good and what a bad message is, we can try to send a message that does not reflect reality, tricking the cells, making the cells behave the way that we want them to. And I do exactly that by treating one of the major features of obesity called insulin resistance, a condition where insulin does not work. And if you don't treat, you are prone to have diabetes. So for example, I can take extracellular vesicles containing mostly good messages from lean, healthy animals and use those vesicles to treat obese animals that are also resistant to insulin. With the treatment, the obese animals can now respond to insulin, meaning that the insulin is working again as you would if the animals were lean, but they are still obese. So by giving obese animals a message, a good message that does not reflect at all what is happening during obesity, we were able to treat insulin resistance. So here we have a very rare case where providing fake news is not really that bad and can lead to a therapeutic strategy. So we can treat disease with those vesicles. And we are doing that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Karina. And we have our questions to get to know you better, too. And we start with our leader. Tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
So I grew up with very strong women around me. So my grandmother, super strong. My mom, super strong. She was actually so sick that she did a major surgery, and everyone said, including the doctors, I think that's it. I think that's her last time. And then they came back and I said, she survived, and everybody we didn't even celebrate because we were like, what? Everything was kind of like the paperwork, this kind of thing. So I grew up with very strong women, and women always inspires me. They always inspires me. So that's it.
Yes. Thank you. That's wonderful. Tell us about your favorite way to recharge. Well, how long have you been in San Diego?
4 years.
4 years, okay.
Yes.
Nice. What's your favorite way to recharge?
By getting more tired, by doing a lot of exercise. You can name any exercise I've been doing, even pickleball.
We could all play tennis.
No, not tennis, pickleball.
Pickleball? Wait, do you play pickle? Did you say pickleball?
Yes, pickleball.
Pickleball. Where's Jen? We got some pickleball players
yes.
too. I don't know. Though, that's
Pickleball?
some competition for those of you who aren't familiar with the tennis pickleball competition.
Yes.
One of us don't like the others.
We compete for the same
That's true.
court.
Actually, I like both. Yeah, I know
Yes.
it's for the same courts. Okay.
Yeah.
So exercise, wonderful. And you've been here for enough years to also have perhaps seen some traditions, maybe not. But if you could create a new campus tradition, what would that be?
First of all, I need to understand the traditions, because sometimes I'm leaving lab and then I'm listening to music and then I look at the third floor at the parking lot and there are people dancing and then I don't understand. And then sometimes I go and then my student says, someone is selling popcorn, so you have to go. And then every first week of this thing, they have this huge fair, so we have to go and buy something. So I don't understand much, but I have people that keep me informed. But if anyone have an idea why people are dancing in the parking lot on Thursday night, I would like to join.
That's true. There are a lot of local traditions too. Yes. I don't know about the dancing in the parking lot. I guess I've seen
Yes,
that. The popcorn person who's out
It's
there.
amazing, but it's only
true.
once a week.
Once a week
once
is
a
still
quarter.
A lot. Yes,
Once
once
a
a quarter.
quarter
The popcorn
for a week.
person next to the person who sells those little bundt cakes. Have you seen that?
Oh, that
yes.
I didn't
I don't know if I'd call it a tradition, but they are out there. I think quarterly.
Once a quarter, and then every
Yeah.
time my students send me, oh, we have popcorn, and then I know I have a mission that week.
Okay, superpower. What superpower would you like to have that will help in the research?
Very specific. So imagine that I do experiments in the bench, so it's a lot of time, and then we have to test a lot for something to work out. So I would like you set your experiment, you have an idea of what you're going to do, and then you have the power to predict if that setup is going to work. You don't need to know it's not going to work, so you try another one until you have one it's going to work, and then you do it. That would take a lot of time.
I'm afraid you would take the fun out of research.
I know. But then imagine you do, but you still have to set up. You set up? No. Yes,
I like
and then
it.
you do it.
I like it. This could be a new reality show, I think.
That would be. I always thought they could do MasterChef, but for science. So you do you have to do this experiment, and then you do it. You know.
Who do you think would watch?
Yeah.
Watch. Yes, some of us would watch. All right. Thank you very much, Karina. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next postdoc pitch competitor, we have Natasha Anita from Neuroscience with the talk, An Ounce of Prevention, Repurposing Diabetes Drugs to Outsmart Alzheimer's. Competition.
Benjamin Franklin once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And Alzheimer's disease is one such condition in dire need of prevention. The disease costs our country $360 billion each year. You're going to need a lot more Benjamin dollar bills to cover that amount. And there is no cure for Alzheimer's disease. So recently, there's been interest in looking at preventative medications. Medications that we could give beforehand to stop the development of Alzheimer's in the first place. But what medication could we use for this? It takes 20 years for new medications to be developed and tested. One potential solution is to repurpose existing medications. Medications that have gone through the hoops and been vetted for safety and tolerability. Repurposing medications is nothing new. For example, many antidepressants have off-label uses for pain. And this is because depression and pain happen to share similar brain mechanisms. In our case, Alzheimer's disease happens to have similarities with type 2 diabetes. Both show insulin resistance in the brain. So, this begs the question, could diabetes medications be used to prevent Alzheimer's disease? To answer this, my lab recruited 6,000 people without Alzheimer's disease. We asked them about their diabetes medication use and measured their memory and thinking skills using neuropsychological assessments. We did this for 15 years and are now collecting the last bit of data. Once this is done, we'll be able to see if diabetes medication users show smaller changes in their memory and thinking over time, compared to people not on the medication and people without diabetes. We'll also watch out for people who had more serious changes in their memory and thinking. This is also called cognitive impairment, a precursor to Alzheimer's disease. If our data shows that diabetes medications protect against memory problems, then they could be given as preventative treatments for Alzheimer's. And this is important, not only because there's no cure for Alzheimer's, but also because diabetes medications have been around for decades. So they're safe, accessible, and can easily be prescribed by a physician when the time comes. So, like our dear friend Benjamin Franklin once said, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And with our aging population, we need every ounce we can get. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. Very nice. Tell us about someone who has inspired you and had an impact on your life.
Yeah, well, I can't name one person because I feel like then everyone else is going to hate me. So I'm going to say my family. So my parents have always been really supportive of whatever I've done and taking forever with my degrees and then now doing postdoc, so you know. And then my sister, not in the sciences because I think she got scared. But she's always reminding me to go for, you know, like an ice cap. If you're Canadian, you know what that is. But, you know.
Wait, what did you say? Ice cap?
Ice cap, so it's basically like a coffee smoothie. I don't know how to explain. I have not found like
a frappuccino?
Equivalent. Yeah, not as sweet, so it's and cheaper.
Okay.
So that's probably
that's a Starbucks thing.
Go
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. And how long have you been in San Diego?
So 9 months. So basically a pregnancy. That's how long I've been in San Diego.
9 months. Okay. So tell us what your favorite thing is so far about San Diego.
Well, I love the weather. I know everyone says that, but it's really nice not shoveling your weather. So I love reading by the beach. That's my main thing.
Love reading?
By the beach. So
by
honestly,
the beach.
I'm not an athletic person, so I just sit there, but yeah.
Oh, it's very nice. It's very relaxing, though. It's a form of recharging, too. And tell us about, in terms of your research, what superpower would you like to have to impact your research?
I don't know if I'm allowed to say this given the circumstances, but funding would be amazing.
We should all be screaming this. We all should be screaming funding.
Yeah. It would be nice to not have to apply to things all the time too, like explain to people why it matters. Although it can be fun like this, it's just I find that it kind of takes away from what I'm really supposed to do, which is write papers. So.
It's true. I thought you were going to say to speed up time, because you said 15 years to collect the data. So
yeah, well, 15 years, but all good things.
That's true. Okay, and then tell us something that's on your bucket list.
So I was talking to someone else about the FIFA World Cup, so it's coming next year. Again, I'm not an athlete, but I love watching sports, so I'm really hopefully I can get a ticket.
That is fun to watch. All right, well, hopefully you can get some tickets.
Hopefully.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Natasha.
Thank you.
Okay, we can bring up our next speaker, and our next speaker is Jiyo Athertya from radiology with the talk. Very clever titles these are: Making the Invisible, Visible.
Imagine you are reading a book, but half the words are blurred out. You know something important is there. You can sense its presence. You just can't quite see it. Well, that's exactly what happens in traditional MRI when it comes to myelin imaging. Myelin is a protective sheath around the nerve fibers and is extremely essential for fast communication between the brain cells. Yet, the traditional MRI or the standard MRI scans fails to capture it. Why? Because the signal fades away too quickly. It's like trying to photograph a shooting star, just that your camera is a second too slow. To work around this, scientists have relied on indirect imaging methods. But that's like looking at footprints rather than seeing the person who actually made them. They give us hints, but not the whole picture. And in science or medicine, relying on just hints and not direct evidence can mean missing early warning signs of very many diseases. That's hard. So what if we can actually see myelin? What if we can freeze the shooting star and capture it? That's what UTE brain MRI or ultra-short echo time brain MRI does. Unlike conventional brain scans, UTE MRI can snap the signal before it disappears, revealing myelin with unprecedented clarity. And why does this matter? Because myelin loss is one of the earliest signs of various neurological diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and multiple sclerosis. With UTE MRI, we can capture these signals and help doctors give the ability to track and look at the progression of various diseases. My research focuses on refining these techniques so that we can acquire, process, and analyze the data with finding subtle signal changes. It's very much like tuning a radio. You tune and you adjust until the signal comes through clearly. And the more precisely we hone our techniques, the stronger the message becomes. By transforming invisible to visible, we are not just improving imaging, we are trying to redefine the field of diagnostics and treatment. After all, what remains unseen often goes untreated in medicine. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiyo, very much. And we, of course, have to start out with our leader question tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Yeah, there have been quite a lot of people in my life that I would like to mention, but at this point, definitely my current PIs and my lab mates, of course my family, and this little one for not showing up very soon because I was really nervous that I wouldn't be able to make it to this talk. I'm almost 39 weeks, so anytime now.
Oh, wonderful. You've made us all very nervous.
Yeah.
We're excited. And maybe tell us, I don't know, the answer today might be different in, next week after your little one is born, but what's your favorite way to recharge?
I should honestly say I like my alone time, but then given that I have a family now, I should definitely tell it's fun having them around too. But yes, those days when my daughter goes to the daycare, I have one more. So the days when my daughter goes to the daycare and the days when I spend in the lab, I feel like those are really, really good days than the weekends. So I look forward to the weekdays more than the weekends. It's very physically demanding when you have kids.
It's on the theme of just relaxing and taking time for yourself. So it's truly recharge. No, I think we all understand it. And we asked this question about campus tradition. I don't know how long you've been here in San Diego to know any of our traditions. Maybe not so long, or maybe you've been here for a while. But if you could create something, a new campus tradition, what would it be?
Probably a mailing list where I get to know where all the free foods go to, especially the leftovers from all these talks and conferences, because at least I'm not on any of those lists.
That is good.
Yeah, I'm a big foodie, so maybe if we have like a centralized mailing list so that, come grab snacks from here, or there are so many leftovers. So
I think the people who are offering their free food would love that too, because a lot of them are vendors.
Okay.
And I get these emails, free blank, come
you
look
do?
at our, yeah.
Okay,
so
I hardly get any. So.
We need, I may have to start to create that. Okay, new campus tradition, we need a mailing list for food. Okay, what about your research? If you could have any superpower that would help you in your research, what would it be?
I would like to get the power of shrinking things, because we use MRI machines on a day-to-day basis, and they are so huge, so expensive, and we have to commute. I wish there was something with which I can shrink them and make it more portable, more accessible, so that I can perform all my experiments, more easily than now. So
we
probably
need to
shrinking.
We need to combine these superpowers with be able to predict whether it's going to work, keep it small also, change time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jiyo. Okay, we have our final postdoc speaker is Gosia Murawska from pharmacology with the talk, You Are What You Eat, Literally.
You are what you eat. We've all heard this saying so many times, but what does it mean? Am I pizza? Am I fish? I'm here to explain. Our bodies are made of cells. If our body is a giant factory, then you can think of cells as individual rooms within. Each room has a super unique function, whether it's your skin, your retina, or your immune cells, but they all share a common structure. They're cell membranes. These membranes are like walls of each room, surrounding each cell. And just like walls in a building are made of bricks and cement, cell membranes are made of proteins, sugars, and my personal favorite, fats. Now, unlike the static walls, cell membranes are dynamic structures. The fats that comes from your diet got incorporated into the cell membranes. Once incorporated, they're here to stay. Unless they can be taken out by the group of enzymes that I study. To help you understand, I will introduce two members, the inflammatory enzymes and anti-inflammatory enzyme. In my research, I found out that the inflammatory enzyme specifically targets omega-6 fats in the cell membranes, turns it into pro-inflammatory molecules. Those molecules send a distress signal, calling immune cells to the site of infection or injury, kickstarting inflammation. This type of inflammation is essential for our body's ability to fight off invaders like bacteria or viruses. But if it gets out of control, it contributes to chronic diseases like arthritis or asthma. In contrast, my research also shows that the anti-inflammatory enzymes specifically target fish oil omega-3 fats on the cell membranes, turning them into anti-inflammatory molecules. Now, those molecules stop the immune response once the threat is gone, promoting healing and preventing tissue damage. Just as a factory relies on the workers who tear down and those who rebuild, our body relies on a balance between those two enzymes to ensure inflammation doesn't last too long. Imagine treatments that can selectively reduce harmful inflammation and chronic diseases, dramatically improving patients' quality of life. You guys, my research turns this possibility into reality. So it's up to you to choose pro-inflammatory diet or anti-inflammatory diet. But whichever you choose, it turns out it's true. You are what you eat. My name is Gosia Murawska, and thank you for listening.
Thank you. Very fascinating. Now I'm hungry. All right. Tell us, Gosia, tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Whew, list is long, but I will start with my family, since I was a terrible student. And they keep telling me I'm not that dumb, I just have to keep going. And once I went as far as my master's program, I ended up in Berkeley with this wonderful, wonderful lady. Her name is Dr. Jenny Mortimer, and I name her because she was the first person that explained me that there is such thing as freedom in research. If you can do what your mind comes up with, and it happened to work out, this is all you want to do. Just keep researching. So that will be it.
Yeah, that's a wonderful discovery to make, actually,
thank you.
in the lab. That's what we all love about research, actually, that freedom. And how long have you been in San Diego?
4 years.
4 years, okay,
Long
wonderful.
time.
Well, it's long or short, I don't know, depends.
I have some 9 months, yeah.
But what's your favorite thing about San Diego?
That's a great question. And I was thinking about it the other day. San Diego struck me as the city of contrast. You have those very relaxed surfers, and right next to them there are flying jets, militaries right across the corner. There are the super expensive houses right next to the Mexico border. They're the biggest birds that you've ever seen, the pelicans, and the smallest, literally hummingbirds, the smallest birds. It feels like there is something for everybody. And that feels welcoming.
Oh,
so
that's very
I feel
nice.
like I can find my little niche here.
Oh, that's a great way to describe San Diego. I agree. It has diversity in all the ways you can think of. So that's a wonderful description. And we want to hear about something that's on your bucket list.
Oh, I'm a big traveling pal. So I like to take my family and travel whenever we can. If it's a short weekend, we would go an hour in, as you mentioned. It's good to have a car.
Yes. Yeah. Get your driver's license.
This is just a formality. You got this. Yeah, that helps. Or someone that can drive you. Yeah, so my big bucket list item is Japan and New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
Very far away.
Wow, exciting.
Yes.
Find a conference.
That's right, thank you.
That's the other wonderful thing about research, is there's always a community that you can find, or they will find you.
That's
with food and just all sorts of great opportunities.
Food, thank you. You mentioned it, yes.
Thank you, Gosia, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and everybody, let's all please thank all of our 2025 postdoc pitch finalists, and let's give them all another great hand. Our inaugural group of postdoc pitch competitors. And at this stage, I know you're all waiting to see who is going to be awarded, but that comes at the end. So we're going to move to stage 2. We're now moving on to our Grad SLAM presentation. So these are graduate students. First, we're going to, of course, welcome and join our judges for the Grand SLAM competition. And when I say your name, please stand. Dr. Pia Bose. Pia is the Assistant Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs in the Office of Student Affairs and Campus Life at San Diego. So thank you for being here. We have Tiffany Fox. Tiffany, the Director of External Affairs for the UC San Diego Center for Epigenomics. She was also the original coach for the very first few years of Grad SLAM and is thrilled to be back. So I was one of the first judges, I remember quite a while ago. It was a different thing, but thank you for being here. Josephine Relaford Doyle. Josephine Relaford Doyle is Assistant Director of Engaged Teaching and in the Teaching and Learning Commons at UC San Diego. I'm pretty sure we all know how important the Commons is to our community here, so thank you. Kevin Reichel Penn, sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong. Kevin Kevin is a data scientist in spatial biology at Miltenyi Biotech. He received his PhD in bioengineering from UC San Diego and was a Grad SLAM finalist in 2021. So we have some expertise here. Very nice. Always great to have a double alum. We have Martin Spang. Martin Spang works in operations and research services at the Altman Clinical and Translational Research Institute and is a lecturer in bioengineering here at UC San Diego and is also alum, received his PhD in bioengineering in 2020. So thank you and welcome back. Thank you for being here. All right, so our judges are ready now. Now it's time to do some work. We have 10 graduate student presenters today, and we're ready with our first Grad SLAM speaker. This is Camie Lau Dyess from Education Studies with the talk, Skilling Creativity, Unleashing the Mr. Miyagi in Every Teacher.
Recently, I rewatched The Karate Kid and became captivated by Mr. Miyagi. At first, I thought it was because he looked like my dad. But then I realized I was fascinated by his unconventional ways of teaching Daniel-san. Now, imagine if Mr. Miyagi trained Daniel to take down Cobra Kai using just a worksheet. Artificial scenarios with preset answers, no wax on, wax off, no real practice. That's silly, right? But that's where we're at in education. Teachers with Miyagi-level skills don't see themselves as creative because they're stuck prepping kids for tests. So how do we get here? Where schools stifle creativity even as AI threatens to replace knowledge-based jobs. We need innovative thinkers, not just students who could pick the right answers. To understand how we got here, let's go back to 2001 with the No Child Left Behind Act. Designed to close the achievement gap, it instead pressured schools to standardize education for federal funding, forcing teachers to stick to rigid lessons for test prep. That's like telling Mr. Miyagi, you're a great teacher, but stick to the routine. Paint the fence? That's not on the test. No Child Left Behind may be gone, but years of testing pressure left lasting habits. Yet many teachers still find ways to be creative. Through interviews and observations, my study explores what shapes teachers' creative self-beliefs in public schools. In other words, what conditions must the dojo have to unleash each teacher's inner Mr. Miyagi? My data shows that teachers are more willing to innovate when they have teammates who take creative risks. Even more striking, teachers point to school leaders as key players in elevating their creative confidence, especially when those leaders make space for failure and shield them from criticism. If we want students ready for the 21st century, schools must foster a culture to support teacher creativity. Teaching to the test doesn't just limit teachers, it holds back a generation of innovators. Because if Mr. Miyagi prepared Daniel using just multiple choice tests, you better believe Daniel wouldn't have the skills nor confidence to create and kick any Cobra Kai butt. So, rather than kill creativity in schools, let's make it a priority to skill creativity. Thank you.
Oh, very nice, very inspirational. Thank you, Camie. And on to our questions to tell us, to get to know our speakers a little bit better. Tell us about someone who has had an impact in your life.
I thought about this. I'm going to get creative with this answer. And I'm actually going to say all the students I've had, present and the past. I actually have one here sitting in the audience. I didn't know he was going to be here. So I think knowing the work that we do in the classroom and how it affects kids. I've told them to do something scary every day, and this is pretty scary standing here. So, I mean, I walk the walk and talk the talk, so for a Kai here, I'm doing what exactly I've told you to do.
Very nice, wonderful. And then I don't know, how long have you been in San Diego?
I've actually been here since 2001. I was an undergrad here.
Oh, whoa,
Yeah,
that's
it's
awesome.
been triple Triton.
Yes, awesome, nice. Okay, so now you have a lot to say. What's your favorite thing about San Diego?
I had to think really hard about not saying the weather. So during COVID, I actually got into skating, and I was not athletic at all. And I saw my own kids skating in the skate parks, and I was like, I'm gonna do that too.
Okay, clarify, roller skating,
I was roller
skateboarding,
skating.
like the old school style
Yep,
with
the quads.
four on. Oh,
Yep.
okay, nice, nice.
My son was skateboarding, and I was like, I want to do this. So I padded up, and I was like, try something scary. Let's do it. And so I didn't know that there were that many skate parks in San Diego, including the one in Linda Vista. If you've never been there, it was actually, I think, designed by Tony Hawk, which was
Ooh,
pretty
wow.
cool to know.
I've seen roller skaters in the tennis courts, and it does not bring me pleasure. They should not be there, but I'm just saying. Okay, superpower. What superpower would you like to have that would help in your research?
So I'm a qualitative researcher. So my study was observing teachers in the classroom. So invisibility would be great because somehow they know. Well, they assume I'm some family member of the teacher, but then I have to sit in the corner and just really pretend I'm not there. So if I have an invisibility cloak for any Harry Potter fans, that would be great to have that.
Yes, we could put that along with things that are really small, so we make you small and
Yep.
invisible.
Yeah, pocket size.
Yes, pocket size. Okay, bucket list. What is on your bucket list?
Now that I got a taste of being here, I think TED Talk's next.
Oh, nice, nice. Woo. There is, I think, UCSD TEDx or versions of. So another one of these traditions that we don't all know about, but they exist. So thank you very much,
you.
Camie.
Thank you.
I wish you well. Thank you. Whew. Okay, our next speaker is Katherine Izhikevich from Computer Science and Engineering with the talk, Exposing the Reality of Cloud Data Breaches.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. So it's likely that everyone here has been the victim of at least one data breach, and you might not even know it. Huge companies like Verizon, Microsoft, and Capital One have had some pretty big data breaches just in the past couple of years. Even tiny little Canvas, a resource that we use every day here at UCSD for teaching, has also been a victim of the same kind of data breach. It's been estimated that this class of data breaches has resulted in at least $1 billion in damages. But the crazy thing is that no one knows how this happened. The only thing that we do know is that each of these data breaches had one tiny, simple piece of technology involved, and that is called cloud storage. So, what is cloud storage? You can think of cloud storage as like a manila folder in the cloud. So you can put whatever data you want to in there. And these companies decided, what a cool thing, we're going to put our customer data in those folders. Except they made one tiny little mistake. They forgot to secure it. And that meant that some criminals got their hands on it. But no one knows how the criminals got their hands on it. And so a lot of researchers and industry professionals just kind of assume, it was a coincidence, happenstance, that someone just found a link to this folder. But that is so deeply unsatisfying. Because for me as a researcher who studies data breaches, how am I supposed to protect us from these things if we don't know how they happened in the first place? And so, in order to figure this out, in order to study this retrospectively, my lab set up over 300 booby traps on the internet. So we took those manila folders, we created 300 of them, and we put fake data inside of them. Think about fake social security numbers, fake credit card numbers. We put it all in there. And lo and behold, our data was stolen. In fact, malware was uploaded. What a nice gift. And criminals tried to hack into our servers. And if you don't find that crazy, then maybe you'll find this crazy. Sometimes that happened within 40 minutes of deployment. So our study is the first and only study to really put this problem into perspective and tell people how the data might have been found. And for the answer that you've all been waiting for, what likely happened for Capital One, Microsoft, Verizon, Canvas, a criminal specifically identified that they wanted to go after those companies. They wanted money from them, a bug bounty, whatever it is. That is likely what happened. And so I have a QR code here with a link to the paper that's recently been published. And at the end of the paper, we educate enterprises how, when, and where their data could be found. Because, let's face it, sometimes they only have 40 minutes to fix the problem. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Katherine. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Okay, well, this is a little bit of a cliche answer, but not a cliche explanation. My mother, who is in the audience, because we're from San Diego.
Okay, well, hold on. Where's Mom?
She's right there.
Oh, hello, Mom.
Oh, no. But the reason why, so my mom has told me from a very young age that, like, you're going to get a PhD. Like, this is, you are going to do all these things, and you're going to get a PhD in something STEM. And the reason why my mom is my biggest inspiration is because you can give her any problem, and she will find a solution for it. So her background is in mathematics. So you can give her an equation, triple integral, simple problem. She'll be able to figure out like that.
Should we bring her up here?
Well, you really can. If you she's very confident. She'll totally come up here. No, but the craziest thing is that if you have a problem in your PhD in a totally different field, you can talk to her too about it. And so I have a lot of colleagues and a lot of friends who are doing various degrees in other programs, and like they can talk to her about it, and she can kind of help them get unstuck, even though her degree is in mathematics. And so now basically it's like she's getting a PhD in CS because I talk to her every day about it.
We're going to call her the life coach.
Oh yeah, the
Mom
scientific life coach.
is a scientific life coach, so we welcome you. Thank you for being here. Okay, excellent. And you said you're from San Diego. You've already leaked that. So tell us, what is your favorite thing about San Diego?
It's an impossible question. I feel like San Diego, this is so weird, it's part of my soul. It's like I'm from here, and it's a big part of my personality, bragging that I'm from San Diego. And yeah, I mean, UCSD means the world to me. I was practically born on campus. I was born in Scripps Memorial. And then I got my bachelor's here and then my master's. So I'm also a triple Triton.
Triple Triton, another one. Wow.
And maybe down the line, UCSD will hire me as a professor. Maybe.
All right.
Maybe a quadruple Triton.
Yes, quadruple.
But yeah,
postdoc
San Diego.
First. Postdoc. We saw some great.
I don't know if I need a postdoc. We'll see. We'll see. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
what do
kidding.
we think about that? No.
But
I just want to say postdoc was my favorite time of my academic career.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah.
This is no hesitation to say that. Okay, continue. So did you tell us what your favorite thing is?
San Diego, it means the world to me.
Everything.
Jenny, it's my world.
Thank you. That's beautiful. Okay, superpowers. What do you want to have so that you could stop these people or learn more about the criminals?
Well, just like the other triple Triton, I'm also inspired by Harry Potter. Hermione has this like necklace thing where she can be in multiple places at the same time because she wants to take more classes. And I have that problem too. I want to take more classes. But also, I mentor a lot of students who actually read this paper and cold emailed me because they were so interested in it. And so now I have a whole new group of students that I'm mentoring, and I wish I could spend more time with them. So I would love
we should clone you too. That could be part of the cloning.
It could be part of the cloning thing.
Okay, and then the bucket list. Tell us something on your bucket list.
Get my PhD.
That will come true. Yes. Thank you, Katherine.
Thank you so much.
Okay, we have our next speaker is Rhowan Ho from Scripps Institution of Oceanography with the talk Parasitic Clone Factories and Reproductive Mysteries.
People love sushi and poke, but the problem is that your favorite fresh fish dish might be under attack from parasites. The good news is that science may have a solution that can help you save your seafood, and I'm about to tell you how. So I study parasitic flatworms called trematodes, and these guys are like hitchhikers, jumping all across the food chain from snails to fish to birds, and eventually, sometimes, to humans, where if they get into your liver or gut, can cause some pretty serious organ damage. So if you care about your health, or at least your seafood, then understanding what makes these parasites tick, no pun intended, should be important to you. So let's talk about what makes them just so damn successful. Part of the answer is social division of labor. Like how ants and bees have drones, workers, and queens. Except these parasites have whole armies of asexually reproducing soldiers. These soldiers have like huge mouths that bite onto and suck out the guts of their enemies. They also have reproductives, which are kind of like cloned factories. They make more soldiers when the colony is under attack from other parasites. There are also missiles, or sicari, which are tiny worms that swim up to infect fish, which then end up on your dinner plate. So we know that the reproductives make soldiers and missiles. But what we don't know is who makes the reproductives? And that's what I'm trying to answer with my master's research. Two theories. The first is level up theory. It states that at some point, these parasites can metamorphose into reproductives. To figure this out, we look inside soldiers to see if they have the reproductive machinery it takes to produce embryos. So if we can find evidence of ovaries and embryo production, then that's a pretty clear smoking gun that soldiers at some point turn into reproductives. But we have another theory, and that's what I like to call Russian nesting doll theory. It states that reproductives are made whole inside other reproductives. They're just really small and really rare. Until we figure this out, this remains a huge fundamental gap in the field of parasitology. It's like trying to run a country without really knowing where your soldiers and factories come from. They just keep popping up. But if we figure this out, we'll unlock more questions down the line, like which proteins are responsible for the differences in classes, and what factors trigger the formation of a new reproductive. But then you might be wondering, how does this affect me specifically? Well, the bad news is that these parasites are extremely successful, but also extremely invasive, which poses a threat to local biodiversity, the fishing industry, human health, hobbyists, and even, well, pretty much anybody with a vested interest in seafood. So if we figure out where reproductives come from, we can better understand how to develop strategies to restrict their reproduction and limit their population, which means fewer parasites in your seafood. And who doesn't want to eat their sushi in peace? So that's how we're going to save your sushi. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhowan. Thank you very much. And we would love to hear about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Where to start? For science communication and talking specifically, I'd like to thank my friend Anjali, who gave me the confidence to present science in front of a camera, in front of an audience, because I've always wanted to do this. But 2 months ago, I had the camera confidence of a baby deer. And she was the one who helped me speak everything that I've been wanting to talk about. And in a few weeks, we're even going to start our own little YouTube science communication project, which will be really fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. Wonderful. We'll make sure we advertise it and get the word out for it.
Thank you.
Great. And how long have you been in San Diego?
I've been here 3 years.
3 years? Okay, great.
All to masters.
Oh, you're double Triton.
Double Triton.
Double Triton. Okay. What's your favorite thing about San Diego?
Okay, so I was an orientation leader for a while, and I would tell all the newcomers to San Diego about my 7 wonders of UC San Diego and San Diego in general. Although it's not a full list. I'm waiting for more submissions to the list.
Wait, how many of the 7 wonders do you have? Like 1?
Maybe 4 or 5.
4? Okay, it's good. Okay, continue.
You've got the Blue Line, you've got sunsets at Glidaport, you've got kelp forests, and a niche one is the frozen yogurt place on UCSD, which is really good.
I love the frozen yogurt place.
I know.
Yes. Okay, but did you have one thing that you want to mention about San Diego?
Aside from that, no. Generally, San Diego and California just feels like such a dream. You see these in movies. I'm from Malaysia, so getting to come here to California is like, oh, wow, palm trees are real. Seals are real. And it's really exciting. And the joy that this place brings me hasn't worn off yet.
Oh, that's very nice. Very nice. Research, superpower. What superpower do you want so that would help you in your research?
I was thinking at first maybe the ability to talk to my worms, but that's
What would you tell your worms? Get out? Get out.
Give me your secrets. Because they're really annoying in the way where, depending on what time of year you look at them, they can be a little bit different. And every species is different, so if I could just get direct answers, that'd be great. But I think my real answer would be unlimited energy. So I can get all my research done, but also have time for all my other weird little things I do. And so you don't need to clone me, just give me unlimited energy.
All right, no sleep. Rhowan wants to not sleep.
Sleep's too fun though.
Sleep is too fun too. It is so true. Okay, thank you very much. Something on your bucket list. How could I forget that?
Bucket list.
Yes.
I want to do more science communication, and I think the most achievable one in the next couple of months would be to make a full-length documentary. Not sure on what yet. I've made some small ones already, but I'll figure that out. I just enjoy the process a lot.
Well, you make sure you let us know when you get to that stage. We'd love to be able to tell campus about it. So thank you very much, Rhowan.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our next speaker is Ploy Techawatanasuk. Apologies if I've mispronounced. From Biological Sciences with the talk, Weeding It Out, Approaching Treatment Resistance in Neuroblastoma.
So let me set the scene. You're out in the garden, it's a beautiful sunny day in San Diego, your knees are in the dirt, you're patting in a seed for, let's say, an apple tree. You're growing some fruit trees. Who doesn't love fruit trees? You go out the next day, you're checking on your garden, there's a weed in your garden, okay? You walk over, pull it out. Easy fix, right? But the next day it keeps growing back, and it keeps growing back, and it doesn't stop. And now they're all over your garden, and they're taking nutrients from your fruit trees. These weeds, unfortunately, behave exactly like cancer cells. They grow in a primary location, and they can move or metastasize to distant organs, and they are always tough to eliminate. Now, you could blast them with pesticides or chemotherapy, but like weeds, cancer cells are desperate to survive and can become treatment resistant and harder to get rid of. I study treatment resistance in neuroblastoma, a solid tumor occurring in childhood. More specifically, I study resistance to a drug called ceritinib. Now, ceritinib works by inhibiting ALK, a key protein affecting many cellular pathways, including cell growth, which leads to cancer. In ceritinib-resistant neuroblastoma, we see that inhibiting ALK alone is no longer enough to kill the tumor, meaning the cancer cells must have found alternative pathways to survive. If we can identify, understand, and target these pathways, we might get one step closer to finding treatment for treatment-resistant cancers. To find these pathways, I collaborate with the amazing team in the Cyclic Lab, and they work in gastrointestinal stromal tumors, or GIST cells. They've discovered that in treatment-resistant GIST cells and neuroblastoma, there's a similar overexpression in a set of genes that relate to potassium channels. Potassium channels line your cells, and they can control what goes in and out of your cells, but they also have an effect on cellular pathways. And when overexpressed in a tumor, they can affect cell growth. So, hypothetically, what would happen if we could find a way to block those channels? I introduce to you 4AP. Currently a drug in use to treat multiple sclerosis, 4AP works by blocking potassium channels. That's our key player. My results so far have shown that 4AP synergizes with ceritinib, meaning they work together to enhance each other's effects. And cells that were not dying with ceritinib alone are now dying when 4AP is introduced to the mix. This is a super novel discovery where we find that we can co-opt a drug not meant for cancer treatment, and we can use it to help us treat treatment-resistant cancers. If we can better understand the mechanisms of these pathways associated with potassium channel activation, we might be on the right path to help us treat patients with treatment-resistant cancers and relapsing tumors. Thank you.
Thank you, Ploy.
Thank you.
And we're going to learn a little bit more about you too. If you start out, tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
There are so many. I think most recently, I have to say my supervisor in the lab, her name is Carla, and she's absolutely phenomenal. She's taught me everything I know in the lab, and she's inspired me so much to continue in research and academia, which I wasn't sure about, but Definitely, definitely her. I think she's done so much for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Great. I'm sure she would be very happy to hear that, too.
I hope so.
And how long have you been in San Diego?
This is my 4th year now.
4th year, okay.
Yeah.
And so you've been here long enough, too, to probably have several favorite things, but tell us about your favorite thing about San Diego.
I do have a smaller list, considering I also can't drive.
Driver's license.
I know. Definitely, I think the people I've found here, especially my friends, one of which she's in the room right now. And
Where's your friend? Call out the friend.
She's right in the middle. She's the pretty girl in the white headband.
What's your friend's name?
Her name is Nandika.
I'm sorry, say?
Nandika.
Nandigo. Hi, Nandigo. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, she's been super inspiring for me.
Okay. Wait, did you tell us what the favorite thing is to do, though?
To do?
Or favorite thing about San Diego? Maybe it's...
Okay, to do would have to be, I think my freshman year here, I touched some anemones for the first time down at Scripps.
That's cool.
That was an interesting sensation.
Yes. Okay, and then your research and superpower. What kind of superpower would you like to help you in your research?
I think if I could have the confidence of a stand-up comedian, it would really help with my imposter syndrome. And I feel like that would really help me navigate a lot of communication in my research.
That is a really meaningful answer, and I want to say that I've actually known a few grad students who took improv lessons.
Oh, wow.
And did for this very reason, and I thought that was brilliant. I just thought that is a great thing to do because it sort of helps with just your presence, thinking on the spot. I mean, I think it's a great response.
I think that's definitely an idea.
And your bucket list, is there something on your bucket list you'd like to share with us?
I think one day I would like to take my cat outside.
Are you going to put it on a leash? Is it going to be like a cat on a leash?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's an indoor cat, so I think she would really like to go outside. She looks out the window a lot, so I feel like she yearns for the outdoors. I just don't want to risk bugs.
Oh, yes. No, it's always
one day.
It's a dangerous world out there for cats.
Definitely.
It is true. Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ploy. Okay, our next speaker, we have Joseph Masotti from Philosophy with the talk, Is That a Picture of You? AI-Generated Images and the Philosophy of Art.
Imagine someone posts a picture of you doing something wrong or embarrassing, like in Figure 1, on the internet without your consent. Obviously, you have the moral and perhaps legal right to demand the takedown of such an image. But why do you have that right? Well, because it's an image of you. You were in front of the camera when the picture was taken. As many of us know, AI image generation technology is advancing every day. One consequence of this is that ordinary people can now generate hyper-realistic images with little to no cost and little to no skill. Now, imagine someone posts an AI-generated image of someone that looks just like you doing something wrong or embarrassing, like in Figure 2. Do you have the right to demand the takedown of this image? Well, once again, we have to ask, is this a picture of you? This time, the answer is much less clear. After all, the AI-generated image isn't a real photograph. It's more like a hyper-realistic drawing. But this situation is not merely hypothetical. It's a pressing issue with the rise of AI image generation technology, much of which is being used to generate unwanted images, including pornographic ones, that resemble real people without their consent. These images raise a deep philosophical question. What does it mean for a picture to be of something? Or, as philosophers put it, what do images depict? My research aims to answer this question with a special focus on AI-generated images. My conclusion is that, unfortunately, we don't have a working answer to this question, despite its relevance to urgent issues in the law and ethics. Now, traditionally, philosophers of art have thought that for an image to be of something, it must be that the maker of the image intended for it to be so. So, for example, if someone draws a picture of a cat, like in image 3, it's a picture of a cat because the artist meant for it to be. But AI-generated images break this rule. For example, if I ask an AI image generator to draw a picture of an analog clock showing 1:57, it will give me something like image 4, an analog clock showing 10:10, every single time. Seriously, try this later. No matter what time you give it, it will always give you a clock showing 10:10. Now, I never intended to create an image of a clock showing 10:10, and yet that is what I have. AI-generated images thus serve as a counterexample to the traditional philosophical thesis that depiction depends on intention. This seems to suggest that we need a new theory of depiction, but what this new theory is and what its rules are remains an open question. Nevertheless, understanding how AI-generated images depict matters right now. Such images are already being used in art, media, and even deepfakes. Without a working account of what such images are of, it is unclear how we can determine, for example, who has the right to demand their takedown. The question at the center of my research is thus critical for ongoing debates in the ethics of technology. So the next time you see an AI-generated image, ask yourself, what is this really a picture of, and how do I know that? Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Very intriguing. Now tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
So I got to say my parents, especially for supporting me in my academic journey. So like a lot of philosophy majors, I was pre-law, so they had this idea of me being like a big shot lawyer. That's what I wanted to be. And you can imagine when I came to them and said, Mom and Dad, I want to be a philosopher. That was not what they had in mind, but they were super supportive of it, and they've always supported me since. So yeah, I got to say my parents for that reason.
They may think that you're still going to law school.
You know what? It's possible. It's possible.
But I'm sure your success here will show them that you're doing just as meaningful work. And how long have you been in San Diego?
Since September.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is great. What's your favorite thing about San Diego so far?
I like that it's there's a little bit of everything for like everybody. So I like, you have the beaches, and then you have the mountains, you have the desert, you have a great university, you have like really nice areas, you're really close to another country. So it's really just like you find everything, really. You can find anything here.
Yeah, I know it resonates with the previous response. It's really diverse in essentially any way that you can think of. So,
yeah, because I'm from Florida, and people talk about our weather, but it's really just hot and humid, right? So it's like here you get a little bit of diversity, but there it's just like it's nice for the beach, and then that's it. So. Yeah.
All right, and about your research, what superpower do you want to advance your research?
So everyone else had these really cool answers because a lot of people here are STEM and they have these like cool shrinking their material stuff.
Or themselves.
I'm a philosopher. My research literally consists of me sitting in an armchair with a glass of wine. Like that's not a joke, like actually. So I feel like it's cheating if I say direct access to truth, but I can't. Wow. I actually can't think of a better thing. Maybe speed reading. I think speed reading. It's not like it's a real thing people can do. It's not quite a superpower, but I think being able to read quickly and get through a lot of dense text would be really useful.
I like your insights to truth too.
That would be good for all of us.
That's pretty deep.
Think.
Yeah. Yes. And tell us something that is on your bucket list.
I would like to learn more languages, for sure. It's not like one thing, I guess, but I only know English and Italian right now, working on Spanish, but I don't know. I think it's really fun to learn languages, and it opens up like a whole new world when you do that. Wow. So yeah, I think it'd be really great to, honestly, I'd like, as long as I live, to just keep trying to learn more, but it's also really time consuming. So.
That is true. Do you have a bucket list language? Do you have
honestly,
I must do this before?
Honestly, so like just for the challenge of it, I think an East Asian language would be really cool. Only because so now I studied Latin in high school, so Italian was like a joke learning Italian because it's like modern Latin basically. And then Spanish is easy because of Italian too. So I think like something totally off the charts, like not at all related to anything I speak, like Korean or Mandarin would be really cool.
Oh yes, Korean. It's a very easy language to read and write, one of the easiest, but difficult to learn the speaking, yes. Okay, well, thank you, Joseph.
Thank
you very much. Okay, our next speaker is Consuelo Sauceda from Biomedical Sciences with the talk, The Human Gut Microbiome, the Coral Reefs Within Us.
Our gut health matters. Why? Because we matter. I like to think of our gut as a coral reef, a beautiful ecosystem rich with coral of different shape, sizes, a variety of different colors. Rich, complex, diverse, and collaborative. These are the adjectives that I think of when envisioning these beautiful ecosystems, home to several organisms, all that impact the health of our oceans. So what happens when biodiversity is lacking? Coral bleaching happens. We see stressors in the environment that lead to decrease in corals and therefore impacting the overall health of our ecosystem. What's interesting, though, is that we harbor an ecosystem within us very similar, known as the human gut microbiome, or the coral reef within us, as I like to call it. There are over 1,000 different microbes that reside within our intestinal tract, all performing important and critical functions. Rich, complex, diverse, and collaborative. These adjectives hold true for the coral reefs that are residing beneath us. And what we now know is that microbial diversity is incredibly important, but also very critical for human health. We also see a very similar effect, such as coral bleaching, in the gut of specific individuals, those that have inflammatory bowel disease or an inflamed gut. Patients with IBD have a decrease in microbial diversity. However, we yet did not know what molecular signals these microbes are sending that are causing disease. Not until very recently, though. This is where my project came in. The aim of my project was to compare the molecules that these microbes are sending and see how they are different from healthy individuals. How we do that? Using the latest state-of-the-art technology, we're actually able to profile thousands of different molecules in one single snapshot. Using this technology, I was able to generate a profile of those molecules that are different from the bacteria of these patients. And in doing so, we're planning to generate a new biomarker profile that will, A, not only be able to reduce costs for medical care for these individuals, but also reduce the pain and distress that they are undergoing. How? Stool. We all do it, and if you ask me, I would much rather give a stool sample than a biopsy sample. This accessibility is prone to reduce the cost and also the distress to patients, but it is poised to transform diagnostic and preventative care for patients. So I hope the next time that you think of your gut, or potentially when it's rumbling, I truly hope that you know that you have a coral reef within you, and you know that the cure and potential for innovation is hidden within you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Consuelo. All right, so we would love to hear about someone who has had an impact in your life.
Okay, so I have a lot of people that have had an impact in my life. So I will generalize them, not because they're not important, but because they're all women. I would like to thank the women in my life. They have all impacted me at every stage of my growth, whether it's been in my life or academically and professionally. Many of them are actually sitting in the crowd today, so I'm very happy to have them.
Raise
here
your
today.
hands. Where
Raise
are
your
you?
hand.
Ooh, we see you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I have people who take care of me, you know, in my program, and then also as friends in my program and colleagues. So yeah, I have a lot of people.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long have you been in San Diego?
I have been raised here most of my life.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
So you're gonna have some inside info. What is your favorite thing about San Diego?
Ooh, okay, let me tell you. Okay, so not surprising to my talk, one of the things that I love doing is snorkeling. So I love to go snorkeling and I love the sea life here in San Diego. One of the things that I did during my third year slump, which all of us go through it, is I would just go on Saturdays or Sundays during a break in between my experiments and just go snorkel. And it was the only time that I was able to shut my brain because I had to basically fight or flight, so I had to survive or it was game over. So I love snorkeling.
Oh, snorkeling! Wow,
Yeah.
The water is so cold.
It is,
but I guess you get used to it.
It's good as an anti-inflammatory.
Oh, nice!
Yeah. So you can do a cold plunge, which I did do in the winters. I am so sorry, Dad, because
that is
he used to tell me not to go, and I still went. So.
All right,
Sorry.
snorkeling. And your research here, boy, I can't wait to hear. What superpower do you want to advance your research?
So there are many superpowers that I want to have, but I would like to double down on Filippo's cloning, but not cloning in like you clone yourself and then you just have like 20 Consuelos or 20 Sways running around. I don't want that. I want to have 20 Consuelos to tackle a day and then reabsorb back into one, and then you're able to like really feel like you experienced it all. Because I want to be able to do science, but then I also want to be part of important life events for friends and family.
So all those Consuelos have to share one head and one
Yeah.
heart, and you're still one person, even though there are many of you. Nice. I
Exactly.
can picture it.
Yeah.
Okay, the bucket list.
Bucket list. Okay. So I would like to go to, I don't know what it's called, but it's these slides that are in the Swiss Alps or Switzerland, where you have a view of the Alps and then you're just like sliding down on these like little carts. It's super cool. It's so, I saw it in a K-drama.
I was gonna say, is that a real thing? Okay,
So,
who's been to one of these? Is it a real thing? Okay, so it's a real thing.
Yeah,
All right.
right? Okay. Is it cheap or is it expensive?
I did it in New Zealand. It was great.
Oh, you can do it in New Zealand too?
So you're on a slide in a beautiful area,
Yeah.
and you're going down.
It's like a little cart, like a little go-kart. You just like keep sliding and you're going downhill, but it's like a scenic view. It's
and it wasn't a
beautiful.
K-drama. This is a great mixture of
It was a
things.
K-drama,
Okay.
yeah.
Love the K-drama. All right, thank you, Consuelo.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Okay, our next speaker, these are such great stories. Our next speaker, Gabriela Hernandez from Mathematics and Science Education with the talk, An Optimal Grip on Mathematics, an Embodied Critical Inquiry into Problem Solving.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. Why is there a rock climber here, a puzzle, and some weird ambiguous blob? Let me explain. So I'm going to start off with a paradox. Consider disabled community members like Gavin. So they are expert, OG, original problem solvers. Why? The environment's not made for them. It's made without them in consideration at all. So they've had to adapt. Okay. On the other hand, we have the mathematics classroom, where we are constantly trying to teach our students how to engage in problem solving. Unfortunately, we're having a really hard time with that. What if we could tap into the brilliance of the disability community and leverage their problem solving strategies into the mathematics class? My research bridges together two seemingly unrelated domains, rock climbing and math. And by exploring how physically disabled rock climbers think about problem solving in rock climbing and problem solving in math, we can unveil very powerful and fresh perspectives on problem solving. This is not just about them overcoming obstacles. They are reinventing new paths forward because traditional paths are not accessible for them. Okay, so through interviews, rock climbing sessions, and tactile mathematical tasks like this puzzle, I'm looking across domains and seeing what transfers across the domains of rock climbing and math. For my dissertation, I am developing, or have actually developed, an interdisciplinary, holistic problem-solving framework that looks at the whole picture. It's kind of like an anagram for problem solving. It encompasses affect, efficiency, environment, expertise, and disposition. And it allows me to characterize different types of problem solvers. And it can be leveraged even in the mathematics classroom because it allows teachers to have a new lens into problem solving that's never even been considered before, let alone leveraged. So imagine a world where we genuinely embrace diverse forms of thinking, where we don't just value one solution or one path to the top. This isn't just about math education. This could revolutionize the way that we think about problem solving, recognizing that our most innovative strategies may come from those who can't take the traditional path. And truly, and most importantly, by deeply listening to those voices who have been historically marginalized and silenced in educational discourse and in our society in general. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriela. I'm going to start out with a different question. Do you rock climb?
Yes.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it. Okay. Tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
Honestly, I have my mom, my advisor, my best friend, my colleagues are all here right now.
Oh, raise your hands. Where are you? Woo! Nice. Thank you for being here.
So yeah, Thank you. I love you guys.
Okay.
And I just want to give Charisse a specific shout out because like I'm like the grad student that kind of goes rogue. And you just like are like, yeah, okay. Like you're going to do it and you support me and always push my thinking and also support just, yeah, I'll write you a love letter later.
Oh, we have to read your gratitude in your thesis. Okay.
Yes.
And have you been in San Diego for a while?
A few years, yeah.
You know, okay, so you probably have many favorite things. Tell us your one favorite thing you want to share with us about San Diego.
Just like going rogue right now on my OG answer. El Cajon is this amazing climbing area where I just escape to like every weekend, and it has this gnarly 2-hour approach. But like the time, like going back to like not thinking and just like letting go of school, yeah, you're suffering. So instead, it's just like, oh, I can't think about anything else. And I'm just really grateful for El Cajon. I've learned so much there.
Oh, wonderful. I had no idea that the
It's
such a big
beautiful.
community of, I have made it a personal goal to do a pull-up by the end of this year.
Yes.
And I'm always thinking about rock climbers
Yes.
because I think, you know, I see a lot of women rock climbing and they do pull-ups, like 20 of
With
them.
like our fingers.
I know. You really are doing it with your fingers. So I'm still using the bands, but you know, I'll get there.
You can do it.
Okay. Superpower. What superpower would you like in your research?
Honestly, in qualitative research, such a huge part of it is like deep connection. And I'm constrained by my positionality and my identity. So this is kind of like weird, I don't know, but I just like would love to be able to connect with all individuals. And maybe you're seeing a theme here, but like the community is just a huge part of my research, and especially in qualitative, and it's everything to me.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, and then your bucket list. What is something on your bucket list?
In climbing, we call it being a dirtbag, and I just want to be a dirtbag. I want to like live in a van and just be like filthy, and like live in Yosemite and do big walls, and like I don't know. I just feel like that's like the best existence I could ever dream of.
I didn't know they were called dirtbag. Is that really called dirtbags?
I want to be a dirtbag.
It's not just van life, it's dirtbag.
No, it's being a dirtbag.
Okay. Ooh, I've learned something new. All right, thank you very much,
Thank
Gabriela.
you.
Thank you. Okay, we have our next speaker is Sai Krishna Bhamidipati from Biological Sciences. Near on or near off, rethinking the brain's traffic control system.
You probably hit a few stoplights getting to campus today. Turns out your brain has them too. Your brain is a city powered by 100 billion neurons. Some neurons are excitatory, like green lights, pushing signals forward. Others are inhibitory, like red lights, slowing things down to prevent overload. Without inhibitory neurons, signals collide, activity spirals out of control, leading to serious conditions like epilepsy, schizophrenia, and severe anxiety. Here's what's fascinating. For decades, scientists thought inhibitory neurons were simple, just on or off a basic red or green light. As it turns out, they're far more sophisticated and come in many different varieties. Some are like yellow lights, slowing things down without stopping them completely. Some control a single intersection, while others coordinate signals across an entire highway. So, how do these different inhibitory signals coordinate to keep our brains running smoothly? Answering that question is critical to treating brain disorders. Because you see, many treatments we have right now act on a bunch of inhibitory neurons at once without taking their complexity into account, leading to a bunch of unwanted side effects. Think of it this way. If there were a traffic jam in downtown San Diego, we wouldn't fix it by shutting traffic in the entire city. We would find that exact intersection and fix it, right? So how do we apply that precise traffic management to the brain? Here's my approach. In our lab, I use tiny glowing proteins to label specific inhibitory neurons in the mouse brain. Think of it as illuminating every stoplight on a city map. Then, using a special genetic tool, I trace the routes between different inhibitory neurons, which are glowing. As a result, I can see which roads feed into which intersection, revealing how precisely every single inhibitory neuron contributes to the brain's traffic flow. By understanding these patterns, I'm creating a blueprint for the brain's traffic system. And once we have that blueprint, we can transform how we treat brain disorders. Instead of slamming the brakes on the entire brain, as current treatments do, we can specifically, precisely fine-tune inhibitory signals, preventing mental traffic jams before they begin. So the next time you're waiting at a stoplight, think about your brain and the inhibitory neurons within. Well-timed traffic stoplights keep a city moving. And by understanding how inhibitory stoplights work together, we can design smart treatments that work with the traffic flow naturally of the brain and not against them. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai. Thank you very much. Of course, we would like to get to know you better, too. Tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
I just spoke about my research, so I would like to acknowledge my advisor, Dr. Edward Calloway at the Salk Institute. He's a brilliant scientist, but more importantly, he's a great human being and someone I aspire to be like once, if and when I have my own research group.
Oh, wonderful. It's a great inspiration.
Yeah.
And how long have you been in San Diego?
About 3 years now.
3 years, okay. So you probably have several favorite things about San Diego. Maybe share with us your favorite thing about San Diego.
I know a lot of people have said this with the weather. It's poetic. I love it. It's great. Nothing else can beat that.
It is. Yesterday and today were just amazing, weren't they? Well, I guess every day is.
Exceptions
really.
to the rule, but
yes. Yeah. And then your research. What kind of superpower would you like to have to really advance your research?
I have two answers. To echo what someone else said, I think I would love unlimited funding.
Yes,
I don't know if that counts as a superpower, but I would love that. Second, I would love to be able to visualize synapses, which is the connections between all the neurons I was talking about, and there's trillions of them. I would love to visualize them in real time. So I would love to whoever's working on that technology to speed up.
Do we have to make you small? Maybe we have to make you small and put you in the brain.
Maybe, or that cloning.
Yes,
me
the cloning shrinking idea.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Oh, bucket list, of course.
Oh,
tell us something on your bucket list.
I would love to visit all the 50 states in the U.S.
Oh,
yeah,
yes, that could be done. How many have you done so far?
Less than 10.
Less than 10? That's pretty good, though. That's still, that there are a lot of states, but yes, some are really small, so it's okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our next speaker is Jessica Zhong from Scripps Institution of Oceanography and the talk Monitoring White Sharks with Environmental DNA.
Imagine standing on the shores of California's Central Coast, staring out over the vast ocean. Beneath the surface, a great white shark, a powerful and elusive predator, glides silently through the water. But how do we know it's there? How do we monitor a species that roams between continents, dives to depths of over 1,000 meters, and never needs to surface for air? What if I told you that there's a way for us to detect sharks without ever needing to see or touch them, and it lies in the very water they swim through? My name is Jessica Zhong, and I'm here to tell you about how environmental DNA can be used to monitor white sharks. As apex predators across all oceans, white sharks provide crucial top-down controls on marine ecosystems. Acoustic tracking, where sharks are implanted with an electronic tag, has given us invaluable information about where they go. But it's an expensive process, and frankly, not one the sharks really appreciate. What about visual surveys? Well, you'd better hope the sharks are feeling photogenic that day. Most white sharks remain untagged and unseen by us. In order to truly understand and protect these magnificent animals, we need a new tool, one that's cost-effective, time-effective, and non-invasive. That's where environmental DNA, or eDNA, comes in. Every living organism leaves behind tiny traces of genetic material in the form of skin cells, mucus, and feces. Yes, even you. Using cutting-edge laboratory techniques, we can collect and analyze this DNA from seawater samples taken near the surface, confirming white shark presence without ever needing to get up close and personal. In our study based in the Monterey Bay of California, we compared environmental DNA methods with traditional acoustic and visual tracking. I filtered and analyzed dozens of bags of seawater collected over 3 years at a known white shark gathering site near Santa Cruz by my team at Stanford University. The results were astounding. We were able to detect white shark DNA in 85% of our water samples. With eDNA, we can now monitor these sharks much more broadly using much less effort. Think about what this could mean, not just for sharks, but for biological conservation worldwide. A single 2-liter bag of seawater contains nearly infinite potential. It could contain data about entire communities of organisms, or genetic fingerprints from individuals, or even signatures from species thought to be extinct. This could revolutionize the way that we protect endangered species or combat illegal fishing. So let's embrace this new era of using molecular tools to get more data from less material so that we can make sure our oceans stay healthy for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Very nice. Thank you. And of course, we want to give you the opportunity to tell us about someone who has had an impact in your life.
Of course, yeah. First of all, shout out to the family at Wright. My mom is watching. Hi, Mom. Sorry I didn't tell you about the leg.
Oh, wow.
But professionally, I'd like to...
the camera's just up here.
Yeah. Professionally, I'd love to thank the PI that I did this work with at Stanford, Dr. Barbara Block. Marine science is a really hard field to crack into, and I wouldn't be here without her. She's the one that gave me the opportunity to go to sea, to go on NOAA expeditions, and to see my first white shark.
Ooh, you got to see a white shark.
Yeah, but they're very like blink and you'll miss it. They're not always feeling photogenic.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Okay, thank you. And how long have you been in San Diego?
Since last fall.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
So relatively new here too.
Yeah, first year PhD
Okay,
student.
so first year. What is your favorite thing about San Diego so far?
My lab, hands down. I came to San Diego for them, and my lab is co-run by a married couple. So it really feels like they're my parents, and all my lab mates are my new brothers and sisters.
Is there like a good parent and a bad parent? Or does it depend on the... Oh, maybe you don't want to answer that. Because that changes every,
They take
request.
turns being both.
Exactly. Okay,
Yeah.
good. That works. Okay. Superpower in your research. What kind of superpower would you like?
I think many marine biologists would say we'd like to be able to breathe underwater, but if you know anything about scuba diving, you would know that's not enough. You also have to be able to equalize to the pressure at different depths. So maybe what I really want and what might be easier is to just be able to turn into a white shark.
Oh, wow.
And then I could follow them wherever they go and they wouldn't even know.
And somebody will be monitoring you from your DNA.
Exactly.
Do you dive? Do you scuba dive?
I do. Not right now, but I do love to go if anyone wants to hit us up at Scripps.
Scuba diver, wow. I have high respect for people who can snorkel and scuba dive. Water is not a place that I usually find myself. Bucket list. Tell us something about your bucket list, something on your bucket list.
I would love to go to the bottom of the ocean in a submersible, hopefully a safe one.
Of course.
Some people say the golden age of submersible research is over, but I don't think so. I think we can ride the storm, and there's still a lot to see down there.
What would you like to see down there?
Megalodon?
Oh, whoa! Is there one down there?
No, but really,
I have a friend who buys the teeth from eBay because, there's all sorts of different sizes, but yes, amazing.
Yeah, sell a few of those and you can fund your research. Right?
That's true. I know, funding, megalodons. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. What? Are we already down to our final speaker? No. Okay. Our final graduate student speaker is Mariluz Rojo Domingo from Bioengineering with the talk, When Cancer Looks Innocent, Teaching MRI Hutu Flag.
When was the last time you had to catch a flight? You headed to the airport and you had to find a security checkpoint. At security, you walk through the scanner, but if the scanner finds something suspicious, the alarm goes off. For prostate cancer detection, we can think of conventional MRI or magnetic resonance imaging as an imperfect scanner at security. MRI is very useful. It shows what's going on inside our body. But the problem is that sometimes the MRI looks normal when a person has cancer. And other times, the person's healthy and the MRI looks suspicious. So what if we had a smarter scanner that could always tell the difference between a harmless and a real threat? That's where my research comes in. I study a novel MRI technique called restriction spectrum imaging, or RSI. RSI doesn't only take pictures of these people that are traveling through the scanner. It also studies how they're moving and behaving to find who's suspicious. Inside our body, RSI takes pictures of the prostate tissue, but it also looks at how water molecules are moving within the tissue. When there is cancer, cells are tightly packed together, and there is less movement of water molecules. This is the information we use to detect the cancer. If we had more accurate and more reliable MRI using RSI, we could first reduce the number of unnecessary and often painful biopsies for screening. Second, when a patient has a positive MRI and they do need a biopsy, we could look at the RSI image to target the biopsy needles to the areas that look suspicious. And third, we could catch aggressive cancers earlier. If we catch aggressive cancer before it has spread outside of the prostate, the survival rate is really high. But that's why screening and early detection are so important. So imagine a future with more sophisticated MRI. There will be fewer missed cancers and fewer false alarms. Prostate cancer is very common. My own grandfather died of prostate cancer. And anyone in this room could get it. Yourself, your husband, your dad. That's why our mission is working on upgrading the security system. We want to make sure we catch every single cancer on time for better patient outcomes. Because honestly, when it comes to my PhD and research journey, the most exciting part is trying to give all our families more time to share with our loved ones. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mariluz. And with that, perfect segue into tell us about someone who has had an impact on your life.
I mean, many people, but that for sure be my mom. She's been such a strong pillar for me. She introduced me to tennis when I was little, and that's the reason why I'm here, because I'm originally from Spain. But when I was 18, I came to the US on a tennis scholarship to play D1 tennis. So thanks to her, I'm here, and she's been so supportive. I hope she's not watching it, because it's 3 a.m. in Spain, and I told her not to connect to the live stream, but I'm sure she's there watching.
In case she is. Thanks, Mom, for being here. Oh, wonderful. And another tennis player, nice. And how long have you been in San Diego?
I moved to San Diego in 2022,
okay.
But I was in St. Louis before coming here. So I've been in the US for a few years now.
Okay, well, a little bit different, of course. So tell
us.
That's
for sure.
we only want to hear about your favorite thing about San Diego.
San Diego, I love the weather, but like
Yes.
everyone says that. But it's just a really cool international place. Where I'm from in Spain, everyone, quote unquote, looks the same. And here, like, I have friends from Europe, from Asia, from South America. It's just such a diverse place. So I really like the opportunity to meet people from all cultures, all countries. It's really great.
Yeah, no, fully agree. It's that diversity theme again that we love about San Diego. Your research and superpower. What type of superpower would you like to help you in your research?
I would love to be able to transport myself just like this anywhere, because you could meet so many collaborators, you could just collect data anywhere. 2 weeks ago, I was at home in Spain for a conference, and it's just 9-hour time difference, 300 flights. So if I could just do this and be at home and be in lab and be anywhere, that would be a superpower I would really appreciate.
That is a good one. Zoom just isn't good enough, right? Kind of tries, but it doesn't work. But yes.
Isn't this more cool? Everyone in person?
It is true. And your bucket list. Tell us something on your bucket list.
I love to travel. I moved here when I was 18, and it was such a culture shock. Like, compared to Spain, the US is so different. But so you learn so much when you travel to different countries, not only the language, but like the people, the foods. It just, for me, it's opened my mind so much that I would love to be able to travel to as many countries as I can, given the limited time and that I spend my free time to go to Spain to see my family.
Yes, we do love the traveling. All right, thank you very much, Mariluz.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's give a final round of applause to our Grad SLAM finalists of 2025. So thank you all. Wonderful job. Our Grad SLAM judges are going to finish their deliberations, but we need to recognize all of our graduate student and postdoc finalists. So we're going to call your name, and please come on up so we can give you a certificate here. Okay, Filippo Agnelli, come on up.
You want this one? So, Aalok, Varma. They can go sit back down. Or, yeah, you can go sit back down. So, Anwita Mahajan. Karina, Cunha y Rocha. Natasha, Anita. Jiyo Athertya. Gosia Murawska. Want me to keep going? Thank you. All right. These are our winners. So.
Oh, are we ready to announce the
postdocs? Yeah.
And drum roll, we're ready to announce our postdoc winners. Should we have some more interview questions? No, maybe not. Okay. Third place winner, who will receive, these are for postdoc pitch. Third place winner, who will receive a $1,500 prize is Karina, Cunha, Rocha. Fake news. We're celebrating fake news as therapeutic strategy, so congratulations. Our second place winner, who will receive a $3,000 prize, is Natasha Anita, an ounce of prevention, repurposing diabetes drugs to outsmart Alzheimer's. First place winner, $5,000 prize for our inaugural postdoc pitch is Aalok Varma. Ancient viruses on the eve of discovery. Congratulations. Okay. Another round of applause. Actually, let's have all of our postdoc pitch folks up here. Can we do one big picture? Let's do one big picture before we move to Grad SLAM. Come on up again, postdocs. Woo! Nice. All right, thanks to all of our participants here. These are our finalists. Group photo. Squeeze.
We're doing the grad, and then we you want to announce them too? Huh? Yeah, I can announce them.
You want to do it or you want? Okay. Or
that's fine. Either way, whatever you want to do. Shauna's not here, so she's with the judges. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so now we want to call up the individual Grad SLAM finalists here. So when we call your name, please come on up so we can give you a certificate for being a finalist.
All right, first up, Camie Lau Dyess. Katherine Izhikevich. Sorry, I didn't practice the grad ones. Rhowan Ho. Ploy Techawatanasuk. You got to tell me how to pronounce your names, please. Sorry. Joseph Masotti. Consuelo Sauceda. Gabriela Hernandez. Sai Krishna Bhamidipati. I apologize. Jessica Zhong. Mariluz Rojo Domingo.
Grad SLAM folks back up. Want a nice group photo? Group photo. Sorry, we should have just told you to hang out over there. Group photo. These were some amazing, amazing talks. Nice. Oh, we're still doing photos. Okay. All right, thank you. We're all needing to hang tight here because we have not, of course, yet announced our Grad SLAM winners, and that is coming up any second now. Meanwhile, who has a joke? Where's Thad? Thad, do you have a joke? Thad is our Associate Dean back here in GEPA. So thanks for being here. This is a perfect opportunity. Heather Dillon, thank you, who has helped coordinate the postdoc pitch. Jen Bork, our folks here. The idea for postdoc, a lot of you are familiar with Grad SLAM. Postdoc pitch, of course, is brand new. And I just want to give shout out, huge gratitude to Heather, Jen, others, of course, the whole GEPA team, but they really made it a reality. Thank you, Heather, for all your efforts here. Sheila has always been great. Sheila is our executive assistant, always also very helpful in everything. So I don't know. We can't say too much. I know Rachel is here, or maybe Rachel is gone, and Shauna, or maybe they are with the judges. So we have two other, and are there other GEPA folks, McKenna and others? Are they outside maybe? Angeline, where's Angeline? Angeline, oh, thank you for calling out her name. Angeline Yang over there, everybody. Our director of OAR Squared, Outreach Access, Recruitment and Retention. Awesome work. Worked so closely with all the team to make this possible too. So gratitude to you too, Angeline. Okay, anybody else? It's like when you're standing up here, you can't see anything. Who else? Any other of our GEPA folks or our wonderful team? They're all outside. Okay. So now we're back to, anybody have a joke? Who wants? Ooh, really? There's a joke? Who wants to answer the questions about who inspired you the most? Oh, do we have a joke? Yeah, I have a joke. Okay, joke.
All right, so I actually studied humor here also, got A+.
Woohoo! A+ in humor. All right. Come on up. You want to come up? What's your name? Yeah, yell it. Go for it. I'll repeat it so our folks. Oh, you know what? We got the mic.
Thank you.
Check, check. This is gonna be a good one. You know, we're all waiting.
They say that the unethical use of copyrighted data by ChatGPT is over. Over there.
Oh. All right. Nice.
Should I go on?
I didn't expect that answer, but pretty good.
Yeah, that's the incongruity theory.
I need another one. Do
you have any more?
Yeah, a bunch more. All right.
All right, I'm ready.
So I discovered this new metabolic process status. It's when you work out so much that you're sore. And then while you're sore, you also eat so much that you start to become fat at the same time. So I'm looking for a name for this, if you have any suggestions. I'm currently experiencing it right now. I worked out and I'm sore, and then I ate so much. I'm trying to think of a name for this metabolic status. Anyway, there's no punchline for that one. But
Oh, we're waiting. We
Waiting for
have
the
to come up
punchline?
with the punchline. Anybody have a punchline?
Yeah, I'm working on the name.
We'll think about it. We'll consider it. Well, while we are giving the judges the time, our reception is ready for us to enjoy. So I think we can step outside, have a snack, have a drink, but everybody's got to come back. No? And Postdoc, stay here. Do you want the grad students too? All presenters stay. Okay, presenters stay here. Oh, I see. We're going to lose people. Okay, folks, presenters, you guys stay here. We're going to go eat. Someone's going to tell jokes. Where's our joke teller? We'll be back.
I know that.
Can I do a big group photo? Oh, okay. I don't know how to get there without doing this. Why can't I go back more? I was like, no. Oh, wait, no, I can't do that. That one, right? Perfect. Rewind. You were great. I loved it. I love the personal thing. I know. I feel like I learned a lot from you. I was like, Judy. No, very cool.
know. Yeah, I know. I'm sure it is anything in econ is much deeper, much like really well identified. But it is like, I mean, I worked on big policy in the state legislature. We were always thinking about those interchanges. But I didn't know. I mean, Medicaid was true story. So what I want to talk to you about is like how many people in these low minimum wage jobs are actually getting benefits, you know, the health benefits, because I wouldn't have thought that they were getting them. But Medicaid, you know, yeah, it's so weird that like people would always make so much money that they would no longer be eligible for Medicaid, not make so much money that they're now into Medicaid. So that's kind of weird. So that's not obvious. So I want to talk about that. Not as much as you would think. Not as much as you would think. Values yeah. I mean, they read the econ studies about this better or worse for unemployment and all of those. It's almost like a systems modeling thing that you would do in an ecological thing that you don't have like big well-developed systems modeling of public policy. And I want to talk about okay, so the climate shark is kind of like the wastewater stuff. Like, so they show that the climate shark DNA in areas where there's shark, but they also find shark DNA in areas where there aren't sharks. Is it like Caesar's, you know, the things that are always breathing, like a molecule that Caesar breathed out? Is it just detectable everywhere? So yeah.
Yeah. So again, I was like, my bias. I'm like, we have someone who's not like in stats, you know? I'm like,
I don't want to watch that.
Hi everyone, we're about ready to announce the Grad SLAM winners. So if you'd like to stay in here and hear that announcement, please find a seat. And our grad students, please stay here. If anyone's left, if you could let us know so we can bring them back in.
Yeah. We're going to announce it a second time outside.
Okay. Okay, it looks like. Wait, is it your job? It's you. Whoa. One more time. I'm up here for a last time here. We are ready to announce our winners for Grad SLAM, which is our graduate students. Okay. All righty. Ready. So we have starting with third place winner who will receive $1,500 prize is Mariluz Rojo Domingo. Congratulations. Second place, who will receive a $3,000 prize, is Joseph Masotti. Congratulations. Ooh, all right. We have a first place winner. Not only is the first place winner receiving $5,000 prize, they're going to go up to Sacramento and represent UCSD. So are you ready? Jessica Zhong, you're going to Sacramento. I know. So sorry, Jessica has had to come up here like 5 times. So many photos, and Mom is really watching now and saying, what happened to her leg? Very nice job. Jessica is going to head up to Sacramento with Shauna, and it's in April 29th. So everybody, we're going to watch you because it's going to be live streamed. Okay, and you all miss Shauna. Oh, wait. You're taking another photo? Oh, yeah, no, okay, Jessica, you can stand because we feel so bad. But before I do that, Shauna Slabiota was out there because we introduced all the GEPA folks and said thank you. So Shauna is such a huge force also working with Heather. Thank you. We had McKenna outside as well, and maybe Rachel is outside, I don't know, but just wanted to acknowledge all the wonderful staff and folks who made this possible. So thank you. And we're doing photo? Group photo for all the winners or all?
Oh, the top 3.
Photographer? Okay, all 3 winners, come on up. Our Grad SLAM winners among the finalists. Woo-hoo. And if you all would like to join the reception now, for real, and we won't call you back unless you want to hear from me again. Or hear one of your jokes. We like your jokes. Okay.
Somebody has to announce outside again the top.
Yeah. Oh, out there? Okay, because there are people out there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. We're eating and not coming back.
Okay. Should I do that, or you want to do that? I don't need to be here anymore, do I? Oh, she
do
was
they need
taking
to be
photos.
here?
Like the top three, they're doing pictures.
I know, so should we wait until they can come outside?
Oh, I guess that's true. Okay,
That's true.
Okay, we'll wait until they're done with the photos.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
think
there's any
I
rest
had
that people
one.
outside are munching.
I thought I had one that had the final. That's okay. I'll just.
The finals at the end. Like I went all the way back to the beginning because they were doing it for the poster pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. So I guess for next year we should probably put this slide at the end again. So like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
do-
good idea.
Yeah, and then so we can have
Oh,
it for
this is
pictures.
gonna take too
Oh, yeah, so
long.
you have to go all the way to the end. Sorry.
No,